Hi folks, HR Funk here. From time to time, people ask me about drills they can use when they're out on the range to improve their shooting skills. And my first answer always is any shooting is better than no shooting at all. But specifically, if someone is looking to improve their defensive capabilities with a firearm, then some drills are better than others. Leisurely shooting at bullseyes or plinking at tin cans are not going to be as effective at improving someone's defensive capabilities as drills that push the shooter's limits somewhat, and especially those that allow the shooter to evaluate their progress over time and see when they're improving, maybe when they've plateaued, and if they haven't been to the range for a little while, maybe when their skills have dropped off some. Now, the best option always is to attend some sort of formal training with a qualified instructor, but that's not always possible. But fortunately, nowadays there's another option, and this is where literally there's an app for that. In this video, I'm going to tell you about a new application for your smartphone from a company called Target Eagle. Now, I first learned about Target Eagle about a year ago when I was contacted by the channel's target sponsor, Targets Online, because Targets Online prints the targets that are used by the Target Eagle system. I have a selection of those targets back behind me now, but at that time last year, there was only one target, and that was this one over here. The folks at Targets Online asked me if I would be willing to evaluate the Target Eagle system, and if so, if I would contact Target Eagle for more information, which I did. At that time, I found out that the Target Eagle app is a free download from the App Store and Google Play, and I downloaded the app, I got the targets from Targets Online, and I evaluated the system. And at that time, I wasn't real crazy about it. There was more setup than I cared for. It seemed like it wasn't working quite the way I thought that it was going to work, and I felt that I could accomplish much the same, simpler, by just using a shot timer and going out and shooting my way through the drills. And I communicated all this back to Target Eagle, and they also got input from other shooters who were evaluating the system from around the country. And recently I was recontacted by them and told they had come out with a new 2.0 version of Target Eagle and asked if I would reevaluate it. And I said, sure. So I went back, I updated the app on my phone to the new 2.0 version of Target Eagle, and in this video I'm going to tell you about what I think of it now. The first thing I'll tell you is there are now a lot more targets to choose from when you're using the Target Eagle system. I said this is a representative sampling back behind me here, but this is not even all the targets that are available, and I just didn't have room to display them all for this video. One of the things you'll notice with these targets is they have these digital symbols in the corners. That's what tells you that they work with the Target Eagle app. You can't just use a regular old target that you happen to have. You have to use these, and they're available from either Targets Online or directly from Target Eagle. Once you get your targets and you've downloaded the app, the next step is to create an account in the app, and it walks you through that. It's very easy. It's basically just your name, email, things like that. Once you've got that done, it goes through a video tutorial and explains exactly how the Target Eagle system works. So they make it as easy as possible, even for people like me who are not tech literate really very much at all, to be able to understand how Target Eagle works and how you can use it to improve your shooting, and even how you can find training in your area and how you can share your results with your friends. And I'm going to talk about all that as we go. Once you've set up your account and finished the video tutorial, you'll notice at the bottom of the screen for the Target Eagle app, there are 5 different tabs or pages, and those are labeled Feed, Campus, Activities, Stats, and Profile, and each one of those pages serves a different function in the Target Eagle system. Under the Feed tab, you can share your results with friends, you can see how they're doing, and eventually I understand that Target Eagle is going to set this up so you can engage in virtual competitions and keep track of everyone's scores and times and all of that. So that will be a very cool thing coming in the future. The Activities tab has all of the drills that are associated with each one of the targets, and I'm going to talk about that more in just a minute because there's a lot of information to go into under the Activities. The Campus tab shows you training courses that are available in your area, so if you want to engage in some formal training, those will be listed there. The Stats keeps track of your progression in the various drills that you're shooting, and keeps you posted on how you're doing from week to week or month to month, etc. And under the profile section, you can enter in all of your information. You can also enter in the firearms you're using, and the system gives you the ability to keep track of how you're doing on the various drills with different firearms, so you can even see which firearm you're shooting the best and maybe which ones you don't shoot the best. And that could be valuable information for looking at what you're going to carry ultimately for defensive purposes. The Activities tab is where all of the drills used by the Target Eagle system are located. And the drills are actually listed by target. So when you go to that tab, you see all of the targets that are used by the system, and when you tap on the target, it shows you the drills that can be fired using that target. When you tap on the drill, it opens up another page, and on that page there is a video tutorial that walks you through exactly how the drill is supposed to be conducted. There are also written instructions, once again, to make sure you know exactly how you're supposed to shoot your way through the drill. There are a couple of variables you can set, and they are the timer delay for your start signal and also the distance from which you're shooting. And lastly, there's a button that says begin. Before you hit the begin button, you have to make sure your phone is set up where it can capture you to include your arms and your firearm, because this is how the system evaluates your shooting. And this is one of the things that I wish was different in this system, because you set the phone up to begin with, and then you have to back up and make sure. And what I had to do was open the camera app on my phone with the phone facing so I could see myself, and then get myself positioned properly, then close that and open the Target Eagle app again and hope that I hadn't moved at all. Hit the begin button. You'll get another question on there asking whether this is a new target or one you've used previously. I'll tell you why that is in a moment. And then you hit the begin button and it starts the countdown for whatever you set for your start signal. Once you get the beep, just like with a shot timer, you shoot your way through that drill. When you get done, there's another button that you push to stop. Then, this is why the targets are so important. You take the phone and walk up to the targets, and it will take a photograph of the target showing where your shots hit when you fired that drill. So the system keeps track of your score, it keeps track of your time, and there are other things also that are going to be evaluated later on with regard to your shooting. The reason it's important to mark down, or to push the button rather, to show whether you're using a new target or one that's been used previously is because if you're using one that you shot on previously, the system will only mark the new shots that you fired in that most recent drill. It will ignore the previous shot holes that are on the target. So that's a good thing too. You don't have to use a different target every time you start a new drill. When you've fired the drill and you're done for the day, you can go back and look at the performance that you were able to achieve on each of the drills. And there are a number of things that are evaluated. The system keeps track of your shot times from the time of the signal to fire to your initial shot, also all of your split times, so you can evaluate all of that. It keeps track of your score. It looks at those targets that you got the photographs of when you were out at the range, so that's listed in there as well. As I said, you can actually enter the firearm you're using into the system so you can keep track of how well you're doing with each firearm on each individual drill. And the system even evaluates your movement during the draw and shooting process, so you can try to tweak your draw and make sure you're making your most economical movements possible to get your shots on target quickly without any extra movement that's going to take more time away from your shooting. So there are a tremendous number of things that are evaluated by the Target Eagle system, and hopefully my explanation of these does them justice, because it's easier to use than it is to explain. Another thing you can do under the Activities tab is you can actually develop your own drills. There is a tab that you can tap. It will open up another screen, and you can put in all the parameters. You can put in which target you're using, the times, the distances, all of that. And once you get that done, you can shoot your way through your own drill. So that's pretty cool. And there's also a dry fire section. There are a couple of dry fire drills in there already, and you can also set up your own dry fire drills. So that's a nice custom feature built into the Target Eagle system that you can take advantage of to use your own imagination and create whatever type of shooting drill you want to use. So hopefully to give you a more simplified idea of how the Target Eagle system works, I'm going to roll in some footage of me actually using it out at the range, and you can see exactly how that went. I'm also going to show you some photos of some of the evaluation screens from the Target Eagle system. You can take a look at those. Then I'll come back for some final thoughts. Now, as I said, this new 2.0 version of the Target Eagle system is a vast improvement over the one that I evaluated last year. Even so, there are still some things that I think could stand some improvement, and I'm going to be sending a link to this video back to the folks at Target Eagle. Hopefully, they'll be able to use this in maybe the 2.1 or 2.5 or 3.0 or whatever the next version will be of Target Eagle. The first thing that I really don't like is having to fiddle around with the camera once I get it in place. I literally was having to put cones on the ground so I knew exactly where to stand and where the camera was and everything else to make sure that it was capturing my entire upper body, and that when I went over to switch from the camera back to the Target Eagle app and all that, I was coming back to the exact same place to begin my drill. What I would like to see before you hit the begin button is maybe a preview in there that you don't have to switch out of the Target Eagle app, but it will open the camera so you can see where you're standing and everything, and then all you have to do is go and hit the begin tab and the drill will start. I would much prefer that, and even better yet, and this was something I didn't think about till recently, for those of us who use the Apple iPhone and have an Apple Watch, a watch app that would allow us to start the drill would be phenomenal. That way I would be able to look at the phone, see, okay, I'm in the screen, we can see my arms, my whole upper body, we can see the firearm. Then rather than having to lean over, move, or what have you to start the drill, all I would have to do is tap the start button on my watch app, and then the timer would start and I would wait for the beep and fire out the drill. That would be tremendous. Also, the tab where it asks whether this is a new target or an old target comes after you push begin. Once I push begin, I want to just come back to my starting position and wait for the countdown to go through and the beep and then shoot my way through the drill. So I would rather deal with that new target, old target business before I hit begin. So that's another thing that I would prefer. Also, in the Target Eagle app currently, there's a limited number of drills for all of the targets. In fact, there are more targets than there are drills for those targets. Now, since you can make your own drills and set things up and establish parameters and all that, you could use some of those other targets for that purpose, but I would like to see some more drills listed for some of those other targets. Now, I believe those drills are going to be coming in the near future, but they're just not in there right now. I also don't like the fact that when the Target Eagle system records your movement, the playback shows you a mirror image. In this segment, it looks like I'm left-handed, where actually the camera was to my left side and I'm shooting right-handed. So I would like to see that change in a future version of Target Eagle. I just really don't care for that mirror image effect that you get when you're looking at the playback. Another thing that I would like to see expanded and improved has to do with the portion of the system that evaluates your movements. If you take a look at that, you see all the little lines that are corresponding with your arms and legs and everything else, but there's no feedback on that to show you where any unnecessary movement might be. So for example, if I'm drawing my handgun and maybe my elbow comes out farther to the side than it needs to, it would be nice maybe if the line turned red or something at that portion of the movement to show that's an unnecessary move, and if you keep your arm closer to your body, it's a more economical move. You can look at the little lines right now and see sort of what everything's doing, but it doesn't really tell you anything to try to improve your movement. So I would like to see that also. Similarly, there are some of the drills that tell you your time that you should try to achieve is such and such or so and so, but most of them don't. So giving you some sort of a par time or something to work toward in some of those drills is another thing that I would like to see added to the system, and that may well be coming in the future. When the folks at Target Eagle see this, they might say, oh yeah, we're already planning on doing that, we just haven't gotten to it yet. So particularly if you do a lot of shooting on your own and you're looking for drills you can use to improve your defensive capabilities with your firearm, take a look at the Target Eagle app. As I said, it's a free download. You do have to purchase the targets, but you can get those from Targets Online, or you can get them directly from Target Eagle. Check out the system, and also, as I've tried to emphasize several times during the video, there's going to be more and more added to Target Eagle as we move into the future. Once again, this 2.0 version is vastly improved over the portion, or the version I should say, that I evaluated last year. In any case, that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, as always, make sure you forward those to me. Remember, stop by hrfunk.com for all the latest news and information about the channel. Also, check out the product information page for links to the various products that I've evaluated, and also for various discount codes associated with those products. See you next time, folks. And until then, good shooting. Bye-bye.